I was immersed this week in looking at the shifting sands in news media, inspired by a fascinating global report from the Reuters Institute, which looked at creators in the space. But as always on the color bar, there's plenty else with some visual delight from Burberry's romance with London, Singapore's Art Science Museum rebranding, and an Indian blockbuster going animated. Plus, quick hits, the YouTube versus Reels revenue race we didn't quite expect, Sky Sports' abortive TikTok channel, Amazon's confidence resurrection of an old ad, Samir Nair on Indian media, and sports streaming in Japan. Let's get to it. The news mess. Not new, but still messy. When I look at my personal news landscape and that of my community, real and digital, I most often pause on two elements: trust and engagement. I find trust at a strange place. Connections with individuals and creator brands is predicated on trust and connection, but also on the comfort of similar worldviews. The two don't always chart the same path. Engagement in news suffers from the same issues as elsewhere, though arguably with more at stake. Algorithms, virality, monetization, these ideas are shaping a pillar of our society which they really shouldn't be: journalism. Creators up, trust down, attention tight. The Reuters Institute has published Mapping News Creators and Influencers, a report tracing how news consumption around the globe is shifting towards personalities and creators. This is a sprawling audience centric study across social and video platforms in 24 countries. It showcases what many instinctively know: news sources have become messy, fragmented, and loosely defined. At the core is the blunt, useful point, though made with care and nuance. The mechanics of attention have shifted. Audiences, especially younger ones, now meet news through people, not institutions, not through media brands. This is not framed as inherently good or bad. It's just how our world looks when distribution is mediated by social and video platforms rather than newsrooms or front pages. The report points out, as all this is thrown into the algorithms, it makes for a bewildering cocktail, but one that is also richly creative, entertaining, and informative, even if much of that information cannot always be taken on trust. In many ways, we are still in the early trajectory of this shift, but it is hard to take lightly what is at stake as journalistic approaches are challenged and societal narratives and mindsets are shaped. The interplay of platforms, AI, and regulation can be quite telling in the coming years. I watch this space alternating between excited optimism and concerned wariness. The new shape of news consumption. Head over to check out the report, or let's jump into some key takeaways. 1. The shift is very uneven. Creators dominate in large markets like Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia, the Philippines, and the US, while in parts of Northern Europe and Japan, traditional news brands still hold sway. Creators seem to be thriving where trust in institutions is shaky and social use is high. 2. The creator economy for news is no monolith. It's a sprawl of audiences, each with their own trusted voices. Only a handful of creators reach very large audiences. Think Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Dhruv Rathi, Fabrizio Romano. But most creators live in the long tail. 3. Most creator attention remains along national lines. But in many English speaking countries, right leaning political commentators from the USA, such as Rogan, Carlson, Ben Shapiro, have found, quote, fertile ground for their pro free speech and anti mainstream media narratives, end quote. In parallel, football transfer specialist Fabrizio Romano is mentioned by respondents in almost every one of the 24 countries. 4. Male domination. 85% of the top 15 in each country are men. The Philippines has the highest proportion of female news creators and journalists at 54%. There was this little gem in the report, quote, political commentary is particularly prone to male dominated presentation, with hosts often talking with other men into very large microphones. The emphasis clearly mine. 5. YouTube lies at the heart of this landscape. Instagram and TikTok are favored by creators who explain or simplify the news. There are many exceptions, though. Instagram is widely used for political commentary in India, Indonesia, and LATAM. Facebook is still key in the Philippines and Thailand. I also found the study's typology or classification instructive, even if it is inevitably fuzzy, because it resisted lumping everything together. The authors separate creators with four broad approaches. One, commentary, often partisan, cheaply produced, unconstrained by traditional impartiality norms, the vast majority produced by men. Commentary drives reach and heat. Two, news and investigation, much smaller in numbers, sometimes rigorous, including open source investigations. This carries journalistic standards but struggles for revenue. Three, explainers, creators who simplify complex topics, often for younger viewers. These explainers often remix mainstream reporting and can help the younger audiences catch up. And four, specialism, niche experts and former journalists building focused communities. Now, these specialists have commercial and subscription potential. It's a messy ecosystem where politicians, legacy newsrooms, creators, lifestyle influencers, and investigators now compete in the same feeds. That means creativity and utility, but it also means audiences are exposed to a lot of unverified or partial material. They say our data suggests that algorithmically driven platforms are pushing both creators and audiences towards more sensational and partisan approaches. Now, the report highlights several creator led ventures and newsroom experiments, including individuals who have scaled into media outfits and legacy brands partnering with creators. The boundaries between creators and institutions are shifting. There is also a less lofty reality that the report stresses on. Being a creator is often grinding work, burnout, uncertain monetization, and the pressure to keep algorithmic attention make longevity very hard. They say being a creator is a popular ambition for many young people, but few are making significant amounts of money. Starting things is often fun, but keeping them going can be a grind. If I must drop a single takeaway, the future of news will be plural. Creators add elasticity to how news is produced and consumed. Reach and relevance will often be enhanced, while complicating verification, accountability, and the economics of serious or reliable reporting. This very messy courtship between creators and journalism is where we seem to be right now. The next few years of news innovation, adaptation, and yes, importantly, regulation are more key than many might realize. The report has been authored by Nick Newman, Amy Ross Agueda, Smithali Mukherjee, and Richard Fletcher. Curated cuts. We have some charming postcards from London. It's always Burberry weather. Postcards from London was a new set of films last month from the British brand. Burberry's love affair with Olivia Colman continues, no complaints from me. Each spot features her with different first time tourists to the great city and the trench coat. These visitors variously dabble in what London has to offer, hesitantly, confidently, obliviously, happily. Fish and chips, buskers, museums, cricket, and the promise of a sandwich. I've linked to three of the spots here. The only red flag, a terrible umpiring decision in the cricket spot. It sounded like bat way down the pitch. What a poor LBW call, umpire. He also went and did some quick and dirty amusing dummy weather reports from the same cast. All of these are in a YouTube playlist which I have linked to. 2. Eternal Wars. If you haven't heard of Bahubali, go look it up. A fantastical action smash hit from India a few years ago in two parts. Now, we have the first look for a promised animated extension of that universe. With the coming together of some killer animation teams, India's Arca Productions is partnering with Aniventure, Zaratan, and Alside. It promises all the chops. There has been much gushing, and this gonna be like arcane energy has ensued. Check out the teaser, and helming it is Ishan Shukla, indie animation filmmaker who also directed an episode of Star Wars Visions. And 3. Convergence. Singapore's fairly iconic art science museum has just had a rebrand around the concept of convergence, done by the agency Project 3. They say their graphic language of convergence can be distilled into 3 pillars: intersections, overlays, and dynamic forms. I've got a few examples as well as a link to a bit of a case study. Playlist. Sameer Nair was on the Media Room recently. It's always good to listen to the man who has been at the center of much that has happened in Indian media. He's invariably insightful, incisive, and grounded in the realities born of 3 decades in the entertainment business. He reflects on the transformation in entertainment in India, touching on the primacy of quality, not cost, and why, quote, there is no bottom of the pyramid in entertainment, end quote. It's a good stroll through the evolution of narrative formats, the streaming business, stardom, and the inevitable touch on AI in creative work. He said there is an opportunity to now entertain a billion Indians who have been fed on a very robust and energetic TV industry for the last 30 years. Quick hits, Reels versus YouTube. The two platforms suddenly appear to be neck and neck for budgets. But it's not quite that simple. I linked through to an analysis. Marketers get sick of their ads much quicker than consumers do. Amazon brought back a well received brand building ad from 2023 for 2025. Sky Sports killed their new TikTok channel Halo after 3 days amidst claims it was sexist and patronizing. Said a commenter, so condescending, creating a dumbed down sports channel for women is unbelievably sexist. Incredible that it was approved. Sports streaming is a dream realized. Fans can watch their teams anytime, anywhere. But the dream comes with fine print, an endless chase for the right platform, the right package, and enough room in the household budget to keep the games on. This from a look at the sports streaming industry in Japan, which fully enters its streaming era, but fans face new dilemmas. In my other Substack newsletter, Coffee and Conversations, I consider things coming to an end. We experience endings in small, significant, silly, sentimental, simple, and different ways. Sometimes it's a pact with an end date, other endings you wish for. Some are less forgiving. Go on, have a read. That's it for this week. Thank you for reading and or listening. If you enjoyed any bit of this, please do forward it or share it ahead with someone else who you think might enjoy the color bar. Reach out if you have thoughts, recommendations, or have some ideas to team up and collaborate. Let's talk. I work with individuals and teams on content and creativity. Till next time, have a good week.